This was a scene in front of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office in Jerusalem just yesterday. Thousands of protesters walked there from Tel Aviv over the past few days. Their message to the government: bring the hostages home now. An estimated 240 hostages are still believed to be held by Hamas in Gaza, including Hersh Goldberg-Polin, a 23-year-old Israeli American. His mom, Rachel Goldberg, spoke at a rally in Washington on Tuesday.
My name is Rachel, and I am the mother of Hersh Goldberg-Polin, a wounded civilian American Israeli kidnapped from the music festival on October 7th.
Rachel and her husband Jonathan have been living a nightmare since that day. They haven't heard from Hersh since 8 a.m. on October 7th. His last message to them was, "I love you guys, I'm sorry." I spoke to Rachel about her urgent call for action and all the unknowns haunting her still. Rachel Goldberg, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We are, I guess, 6 weeks now since October 7th. Where is your head at this stage of all of this?
I'm not really sure how to answer that. I don't know how to answer that. Think about your mother not knowing where you are for 44 days, knowing that maybe you're dead, that you actually died 44 days ago, or that you are without your arm underneath a war zone, that you haven't seen the sunlight, you don't know what day it is, and your family knows absolutely nothing about you. No one's checked on you. No international aid humanitarian organization has had access to you. Think about whatever you think your mother would be feeling, and I think that's how I'm doing.
You've been able to gather, I guess, a bit of a sense of what happened to Hersh when he was taken, including that video that was shared with you. Can you give us a sense of what you know about how he was doing at the time?
Well, we know that he was at the music festival on the morning of October 7th with, I think it was 3,000 other young people, music lovers. The title of the music festival was the Festival for Unity, Light, and Peace. So picture who would be attending such a festival. And that then this massacre began, which they now know 364 of these young people were killed at that festival. Hersh and a few others managed to escape to a roadside bomb shelter. There were 29 of them hiding in the shelter. Hamas descended upon the shelter, threw in hand grenades, fired in an RPG, and then came in with machine guns and were just spraying the room with bullets, and most of those young people were dead. Hersh and two other young men were injured but alive and were ordered to stand up and come outside with Hamas, and they were put on the back of a Hamas pickup truck which headed toward Gaza, and his last phone cell signal was at 10:25 in the morning, Saturday morning, October 7th. In the video that we received of the abduction, we see Hersh being marched by gunpoint to the pickup truck. He hoists himself up onto the back of the pickup truck using his right arm. When he turns around to sit down, you can see his left arm is blown off from the elbow down, which we had been told by eyewitnesses who were hiding under the dead bodies in the bomb shelter that he had been in a few minutes earlier. He seems dazed and in shock, but he did get himself, he walked by himself, he did get himself into the truck on his own. And that's the last that we've seen of him in 44 days.
What, have you had any communications from U.S. officials, Israeli officials, about anything they know about him and any progress they're making in trying to have him released?
Well, so news about him or any of the other hostages, we haven't heard details. We are hopeful that they did get medical treatment, which that's our prayer and hope that all the wounded and all the elderly and all the babies and all the children did get medical treatment when they arrived in Gaza. And the American government has been very supportive, very communicative, very seemingly trying to be, as helpful as possible without actually having any real information that they could share. The Israeli government, similar, but the Israeli government, of course, also has a lot going on, where the American government, we're American and Israeli, and there are 10 American hostages, so there are fewer people that they have to focus on, and they're not sort of also dealing with all the things that Israel's dealing with right now.
You've obviously heard the reports. Well, there have been a number of reports. There's another one again this weekend that they might be close to some sort of deal where they would release some of the hostages and pause fighting. What's going through your head when you hear that? What do you think about that?
Well, it's been for 44 days. We've actually heard that many times. So we've learned that until we see someone walk across the border into the arms of safety, we don't get excited about any of it. I obviously hope that happens, but until I see it, I don't really put a lot of weight into it.
How are you finding strength through this to keep going for Hersh?
Well, I think part of it is, we feel that we need to really keep the story of these 238 hostages alive in the public, so that people don't forget that these people range from age 9 months up until, I think I heard today, I've been saying 85 years. I heard today the oldest person is 87 years old. They represent 5 different religions. There are Jews there, Muslims, Christians, Hindus, and Buddhists. They are from almost 30 different countries. This is really an international catastrophe, and we really don't want it to fall off the radar. And therefore, we're constantly, every day, doing a lot of media, meeting with anyone from any government who will talk with us, meeting with lots of different ambassadors and government representatives from all over the world. We also have an amazing team of people who surround us and keep us going when we feel like we can't go on anymore. And we also do a lot of praying. We're people of faith, and prayer gives a lot of meaning to us, and is sometimes the only thing that you can count on when things are really dark.
Rachel, thank you for talking to us about what your family's going through. Unimaginable, really. And I'm wishing the very best for you and for Hersh as well. Thanks.
Thank you so much.